The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, to my left, we have a man that really needs an introduction, for he is known the world over. It's the one, it's the only, it's Pops.
Welcome to True School Sports, and fire away, brother.
So yeah, listen, man, I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you're at in the world. You know, I know it's Thursdays. We're all kind of just ready for the weekend. We're all...
Long weekend, Memorial Day weekend over in the U.S.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know the holidays no more.
Yeah.
So apparently it's Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, man, you know, we're all anxiously awaiting the fight of the year, the fight of the century.
That's right.
Broly versus Tank. So
that's right.
Make sure you got programming reminder. If you guys are by the computers, or if you're gonna watch the fight Saturday, make sure you tune in Saturday night for the live fight reaction extravaganza, because this will be an extravaganza. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the press conference has been an extravaganza.
Oh my
the
Lord.
build-up has been an extravaganza.
Yeah.
There hasn't been one dull moment when it comes to really Tank. And I think this is one of those fight weeks where, as boxing fans, we've been really entertained. And hopefully the fight winds up living up to the build-up, you know, and it's not one of those cases where the build is better than the actual fights. We got a couple of comments. Before I get to the comments, for the 9 of you that are here, make sure you smash that like button so that YouTube lets the rest of the world know that you're rocking with your boy BT, and it gets the video out to more people who aren't subscribed to this channel, so they can get subscribed to this channel and get the information you guys get and the content you guys get. And definitely subscribe and super chat and all that good stuff. But I want to get some comments. We got my man SR. He asked a really great question, which he says, hey, is there any update on the Porter project thing? As of right now, there isn't. I'm supposed to talk with him soon, so that's really all I can say right now. But no update yet. When there is an update, trust me, you'll hear it from me first on the live. So absolutely, for sure. But yeah, no update yet. LVM97, he says Rolly is funny as hell. Rolly is funny as hell. And today, I gotta say, man, today's press conference was one for the books.
I've seen it.
It was one for the absolute books, and we'll get to all that and more. And the Ass Man says, "What up, champ? How you living,
man?
How you living?" So yeah, I'll start with Pops. We'll start with the press conference, and then we'll kind of pivot into the main point of the live, which is, you know, I gotta give you guys both sides. Cause I made a video describing why I think Rolly could be Tank, and everyone was like, "You're being biased." You know, the people who want to police what you put content on here on YouTube. They say I'm being biased, which I'm not. I just thought it was an interesting video. I made it. So this live is gonna be the opposite. Why could Tank beat Rolly? But before we get into that, Pops, I'm gonna swing it over to you. What did you make of today's press conference?
From Rolly's point of view, I'm just going to say that Rolly's comical, but he's also very confident on what he believes in. And I mean, one reporter was asking him, "What's Plan B?" He said, "I don't have a Plan B. I just have one punch."
Yeah.
So he's selling the fight. He's doing everything right. He's confident. You can't take that from that guy. The confidence will get you as far as you want. He's strong. He's tall. And then on the other side, you got Tank, who said now he's supposedly more mature. He got 2 daughters. He's going to make decisions on his own now, supposedly, even though when they cracked that question about him, is he's leaving Mayweather and that, he looked to the side, looked to the right, left, and didn't know what to really say. You know, when LB was right there, because LB kept popping in the whole camera thing, so he was kind of nervous right there. But at the same time, shout out to whatever he does. To me, he's matured a lot. And whether he paints his nails, like Rolly says, whether he puts up whatever it's called to blow up your lips, bubble lips,
injection.
Yeah, whatever Rolly says. The reality is that Tank is coming here as a man, as he matured a lot, and he wants to prove to the world, like, you know what, I'm going to be my own free agent. I'm going to make my own my own fights when I get it with Mayweather a 1-by-1 basis, and I'm going to take over and I'm going to prove it against Rolly.
There you have it. So yeah, my favorite part of the press conference was when Rolly was talking about the pad work.
Oh yeah,
he was talking about how Tank does the bullshit pad work like everybody else, and every time you get one of these guys who do this crazy pad work or the stereotypical pad work, they fight a puncher and they get their ass pushed. They get the shit pushed back and they lose. Right, they get knocked out.
Yeah,
and he went ahead to actually go ahead and compare it to Maidana versus Broner, and he would say your brother Broner got fucked up on Madonna, and the same thing's gonna happen right here. But hold on, Paul. We got our first super chat alive. Shout out to my man John from Long Island. Listen, man, we not wasting no time today with the super chat. So you guys know the drill. When the super chats come out, Don King comes up. But you know, John, we'll give John the the big bad booty daddy. Put them, Scott Steiner. Put these holes in the Steiner recliner. Put them in the recliner.
And it's only a matter of time because they call me the big bad booty daddy.
There you have it, the big bad booty daddy. So John with the $4.99 super chat says, "Hey, y'all, Rolly's funny to me. He's just saying shit. He don't care if it makes sense or not." That was Crawford's tweet a little while ago. I seen that. I had just seen that on Twitter because I've been using Twitter a little bit more the last couple months. By the way, if any of you guys are on Twitter at True School Sports, give me a follow and send me a tweet. I'll get back to you. But yeah, man, Rolly just saying whatever. He don't care. He's playing with house money right now, and I think people underestimate that part of the equation. He does have an advantage here and an advantage there. He doesn't. People aren't really expecting him to win. He really isn't supposed. Like statistically speaking, he's really not supposed to be here because he started boxing at 17 years old. He only has 13 pro fights or whatever, 13 or 14 pro fights. So he's playing with house money, and he's just saying whatever the fuck comes to his mind.
He doesn't care either.
He doesn't care, and that can be a dangerous fighter. Now we'll see when the bell rings and them lights come on, and he has to make that long, lonely ring walk. We'll see what his energy is. But for now, I think he's handled this build up better than the last one.
Yeah, and he says, "Look at this. Look at all the cameras here. I'm handling this pretty good. What can I not do? I'm handling this and everything else." So shout out to Rolly, man. He makes boxing exciting, believe it or not. People say it's nonsense and there's this and that, but you know what? You're talking about him for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so for Tank, I think Tank's going to go in there. Tank just got to be careful that he doesn't get caught with a couple of shots from Rolly because, as I said before and I said last night, Tank did get caught up with a pit bull when he got him a couple times on the rope, and he did get hit a couple times when he went to the rope. So if by any chance Tank falls asleep at any moment and Rolly catches him, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, and it was crazy too because a lot has been made of Rolly's awkward style. People keep talking about how Rolly has this awkward style and he's explosive. And Tank was hilarious. Tank said he don't really got an awkward style. He's just a dumbass boxer. He just do dumb stuff, So
yeah. They go back and forth, and go ahead. They go back and forth, but it's made for a great fight. I think to me, as a coming out of actually Tank Davis starting to bloom for himself, even though he's got the long nose there and whatever, he's going to actually come out and flourish from this. And he's coming out here, like I said, to prove everybody wrong in what he's worked. And one of the hard obstacles he's got to get by is his awkwardly boxing. People think they can't do nothing.
Yeah, and I'll say this, man. I lost my train of thought. I completely lost my train of thought
about taking long LB. Anyway, so I think what's the name? Rolly has made everything the way it is, but Tank has already said y'all want to see that night. Anything that Rolly said, Tank was like, "That's some dumb shit. What are you talking about?" I think we talked about one of the things he said was, "I thought it didn't make no sense whatsoever." And I forgot what he said. And Tank came back and said, "What's that got to do with this? What are you talking about?" Like all the shit that Rolly does, he really believes it, and it's off football shit. But you know what? He doesn't give a shit.
No, he really doesn't. Really doesn't. Tony Thomas says Pop sounds excited for the matchup. We all are. I think people see. There's people in boxing. I like to classify them as boxing snobs. People who they think boxing should be a certain way, which for the most part, when you're in the ring, it should be a certain way. But when it comes to building these fights, like once you get guys like Rolly and Tank who don't like each other and they talk how they talk, all of a sudden they got a problem with it. I like it. I think it's great for the sport. I think we need more characters like Rolly and Tank. I'm gonna say this because this is my thought. I got it back now.
Mm-hmm.
Win, lose, or draw, these two need to be friends. After this fight, these two need to be friends, and these two need a podcast together because Rolly has brought out the best in Tank's personality. I never seen Tank so funny. I never seen Tank I never seen
cracking on him what he does.
I never thought he was as funny because when he started going on that long-winded rant about him being a dumbass, it was funny. Like Tank has brought out the best in Rolly. Rolly has brought out the best in Tank outside the ring. I think if PBC, Showtime, and all parties involved were smart, and them two were smart enough, it's hard because I know it's a fight game, and there's a lot of animosity, so I get it. But if they both put on a great fight and they had that respect after the fight, I think someone should put up some money and have them two start a podcast together because they've been nothing short of hilarious. Like it reminds me of when I was in school and you used to have kids cracking jokes at the cafeteria at the table.
I mean, at the end of the day, they do have mutual respect for each other. They might say they hate each other and this and that, blah, 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 blah. But they really have respect for it. And it's just like Tank said, he said, it's just business. I don't have nothing, I really don't hate the guy, but it's just business. And we have to do what we got to do. He came out and said, we're going to have this fight. I'm going to show you in the fight, but it's just business.
That's all it is, just business. Shout out to my man, John Thomas. John Thomas says, now, this is more like it, True School. Rolly is dead as fuck on Saturday. Well, listen, man, we'll see. There's a reason why we watch. There's a reason why the fighters got to fight the fights. Obviously, Tank goes into the fight as a heavy favorite, as he should. But don't count out Rolly. He's, it's like, I'm going to make an analogy. My favorite sports team of all time is the 2003 Marlins. And they were a very young team. And a big reason why they wound up winning the World Series against the New York Yankees was because they were so young and stupid that they didn't care what the odds were. They found a way to win. And in a way, I kind of feel like Rolly has that going for him. He's so ignorant and he's so, I guess, like delusional that it actually makes him a very live dog in this fight, along with what he brings to the table. But Quincy says, I hope Tank beats him. I hope Tank don't beat him up too bad. I hate to see him retire after this. The bro is fun. I don't think he will. I think it's going to be. I think it'll end in a stoppage, but I do see a lot of a good amount of competitive rounds because. Rolly is longer than Tank. He's explosive. He's physically strong. He will go. I think Rolly will go to those places. He'll get dirty if need be. Yeah. To make the fight a great one.
One guy asked him, "Are you going to use your height?" He says, "What the fuck kind of question is that?" Of course, I'm
going to use my height. I gotta give a big wag of my fingers to these reporters out there, man. I've been sitting here and I've been listening to these reporters. Yeah. Ask these stupid ass questions over and over again, and it's like, man, I should have been out there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so Rolly's just making the whole thing. Everybody knows Rolly's personality. I think Tank's gonna come in here, like I say, he wants to be like you said, and thing on Showtime, the show that they had before the
All Access.
He said it finally came
3,000.
3,000, and he came out and said, and Tank came out and said that. I'm gonna knock his ass out. I'm gonna look on the floor. I'm gonna look him down and say a few nice words to him. I can't say them all here. Yeah. So he's looking forward to that. He's looking to having the last laugh over a confident fighter. And I'm gonna say about a confident fighter, guys. I don't care what shit you throw on him, what you think about him. I don't care if you think Rolly's 100-1 underdog. That motherfucker think he can be King Kong. Yeah. So I'm happy for that.
Is it Feliciano? What's good, champ? Salute to you, champ. He says, Rolly got power of heart. Tank Davis has the pop and the skills. He does. I think that's a fair assessment. Rolly has that physical strength. Tank has the, obviously the much deeper boxing background. But, it's like this fight could either be, because I've heard some people say this fight could be like Mayweather versus Gotti, which I don't think it will because Rolly's not no shot old fighter who's been through a bunch of wars. Or this fight could be more of like a Vernon Forrest versus Shane Mosley, where the unconventional guy beats the more fundamentally sound guy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's somebody else who said Hearns and I think it was Hagler fighting with somebody.
We've heard that, yeah.
And he was like, "I'm not even nearly close to that. Come on, guys." But I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a live dog in there. So I think it's great for everything. I also laughed when the reporter asked Rolly, "What's your punch combination?" He says, "Just one punch. That's it." He's like, he was waiting for another punch. He did just one punch. That's it. So it builds up for a big fight. I think Baltimore needs to stand up, see this guy Tank where he came from, see how he's going up in front of our eyes, and I think he's gonna come in here with a bang.
Yeah, shout out to my man Brown Gone One. Now Brown Gone One, he got mad at me like a lot of people because I said that Golovkin versus Canelo 3 was a pointless fight for casual fans, right? And then even some of these little peon YouTube channels who remained nameless made community posts today, and they wanna try to pick apart a video I did now and a video I did back then, but they left a lot of details out, but they're not even worth rebuttaling. That's it. This is a fight for casuals, and you know what? It's crazy. Today I was on Twitter, right? I'll admit that this is a fight for casuals. I'm excited for it though. I know it's a fight for casuals because on Twitter, right, there's people that I know that don't even give a fuck about boxing that were getting
involved in it.
They're retweeting it. They're retweeting it and favoring it. And they don't watch boxing at all. They thought it was funny.
Wow.
Brown got one. He corrected me. He said, "I agree with you that it is for cash." When did I get mad? Oh, my bad, bro. Well, if it wasn't you, my bad. There's a lot of people. There's like a lot of people, man. A lot of people have been complaining and moaning about that video. So if it wasn't you, my apologies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I kind of wanted to use that to pivot into the main idea of this video. Shout out to all 25 of you here. Make sure you smash that like button. Let me know what city, what state, what continent, what country you're watching from. Super chat, all that good stuff. But I wanted to talk about. I wanted to give you guys the other side because I made the video earlier in the week about why Rolly could beat Tank and potentially become one of the faces of boxing. Because he has that star appeal. He appeals to casuals. People who don't know shit about boxing will watch Rolly just because of the way he is in his interviews. If you look at a lot of the videos from this fight, they're getting a lot more numbers than fights that we would consider bigger than this fight.
Right.
So it comes down to marketing and promotion and selling the fight, and Rolly's definitely done that. But let's talk about why Gervonta Davis will destroy Rolly Romero. This is the other side of it now. Now, I'm going to let Pops go first, and then I'll go, and then we'll work from there. So, Pops, I'm going to ask you, why do you think, because a lot of people think it's going to destroy Rolly. If that scenario plays out, why do you think it'll happen?
I think I'll say this applies to Tank. Skill pays the bills. And I'm going to say coming to this fight, Tank is a very skilled fighter. He's a very live fighter, has a lot of movement, foot movement. He got the skills, the power, the uppercuts. He got more skills, in my opinion, than that's not discrediting
3,000.
Than Rolly, but he's got the skills and everything about him to put a beat down on Rolly. To me, I've been saying it since I've been watching him in the gym. He doesn't have enough foot movement. He just has that straight pressure, forward kind of boxer that doesn't know how to have a lot of movement with his feet. And I think Tank will win the fight based on his movement and his accuracy.
His movement and accuracy, okay. Listen, I'm gonna disagree with you. Okay. I don't think Rolly lacks foot movement.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
I think he's
stiff as fuck. Rolly's one of the most explosive fighters in the whole entire sport and one of the most explosive fighters in the lightweight division. And I'm gonna tell you this.
Do you see how he stands, how he comes forward? He has no movement. On the back
that's how he decided to fight that one fight. I listen, I've seen him in the gym.
Right.
I know for a fact he has foot movement. I've seen it. Like it's not something that anybody in the comments or can tell me. Rolly can pivot. He's got
the pivot from the martial arts, so he's got that move when he pivots and whatever. But
nothing he does looks conventional. Yeah. So shit that looks ugly and bad for him, it works for him.
Right.
Evander Holyfield once told me many years ago, shout out to Evander at the Heavyweight Factory. He told me, he says, in boxing, you have to fight the fight that works for you. And what the fight that works for me may not work for you. You may have certain attributes I don't have. Now, my man faded by VAR. Mm-hmm. He said he's too stiff. The only problem with Rolly is in his fights. I don't know what it is because I always tell Pops this. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, in his fights, he doesn't do anything that he does in the gym. Like he doesn't show all the skills he has.
He just freezes up.
But so it might be that. But I think if there was ever a time where he's gonna do it, it has to be now. It has to be now against Tank. Yeah. So we'll see what winds up happening. It's always different under the lights. It takes a special fighter with a special mind to be calm, cool, and collected under the lights. And I think that could also be another reason why Tank beats up Rolly. Rolly has never, ever fought or headlined a card anywhere close to this. Right. His two biggest fights were Jackson Marinas, that was in the bubble. Right. There was nobody there.
Right. And then
Anthony Yiggett, which was on the undercard. He's never headlined a card this big. So he's making a massive jump up from a couple of fights ago, fighting in a bubble against an opponent that most people didn't really know a whole lot about in Jackson Marinas, to now he's jumping up to fight on pay-per-view to headline at the Barclays Center.
Yeah, but one thing I would say about Tank, and I really like about him, because from Baltimore, anybody that comes from the deep hood where you grow up and everything, he says a killer is a person that doesn't talk too much shit and just get it done.
It's not always true.
I'm just telling you what Tank was saying.
Yeah.
Tank says a killer is a silent killer. He don't talk a lot, and that's what I want to do when the fight comes on Saturday.
Yeah,
I like that.
He says he's in Philly. Shout out to He Hop in Philadelphia, the fighting city of Philadelphia. Nikosi Strain Bully says, I think Tank might be really overestimating Rolly. I think Tank's gonna get caught with some stupid goofy shit he shouldn't have got caught with. And I agree with I actually do think there is a little bit of that. I think Tank is underestimating Rolly. And I think if I'm correct, then he is underestimating Rolly. I feel like early in the fight he will get a reality check if he is.
And I'm going to say this, go along with BT's point. Even Rolly called out Tank and told him this: if you got your ass backed up and punched up by the ropes by somebody that's the power of Pitbull Cruz, what do you think I'm going to do to you? So he's basically telling Tank, don't underestimate me. You were fighting there with Pitbull, and Pitbull took you to some hard places, and he rocked you a couple times. So don't sit here and think you're going to do all this after me because I'm a different person. So he was just basically letting him know, like, you better wake the fuck up. And I think it's right. Too much overconfidence is not good, but at the same time, you can't underestimate any opponent that goes in the ring.
Absolutely. Eliezer Feliciano says, has Rolly ever been staggered? How is his chin? Now, in all the fights I've seen about of those 13 fights, I probably watched about 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. Never really seen him hurt or staggered. In everyone that I've spoke to in Las Vegas, because I'm pretty well connected with the boxing scene in Las Vegas. I'm connected enough to where I can get info on certain fighters if I really want to.
Right.
Everyone I've talked to in Vegas who has seen Rolly spar, and it's multiple people. It's not just one person. It's multiple people. They've all said the same thing. Rolly has a chin. They've all said he's durable, and they said there's one thing that Rolly do got, it's a chin. Mm-hmm. We don't know because we never seen him fight a puncher of the level of a Tank, but we're gonna find out.
He does. I mean, Rolly also said that he feels that that Tank is chinny too. He said that Pitbull called him a couple times. Imagine what I'm gonna do to you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's confident. I love the confidence. He reminds me of, he's not Fury, but it's just like that confidence, the mentality that he brings in there. He doesn't care if you're King Kong Godzilla. I'm out here to try to take
Fury's a fan of him, just so you know.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a fan of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you know that.
So that's good to know. And then to see Tank, I'm telling you, Tank is not going to sleep on this fight. I think he's going to. The bigger fighter is the reality is Rolly, but Tank is a live dog, and you know what we're talking about. He's a silent killer, and he's going to prove it on Saturday night.
Asked him with the comment of the day. We do. You know they're talking from Baltimore.
Yeah, we do.
We can make it. We do.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guy. What kind of music is this? I forgot what it's called. Was it military? He played this fucking house music. It was different. I forgot what it was from Baltimore. He played all I can't think of the name.
It's like club music or something?
Yeah, it's a club music, but it's a different name for it. And every time we fucking out in the war, what we're doing, this motherfucker pull out all that music. Where the fuck does the music come from? I'm tired of this bullshit. And it's good music. I usually didn't like it was house music. He's like, man, you ain't motherfucker Baltimore. No motherfucker, I'm up in there Baltimore, but I'm tired of this shit. Change the music. But shout out to Baltimore and the music.
Yeah. LVM 97, he says, this fight is cool, but what about Vergil Ortiz versus David Avenesyan? Well, that was a big news, and I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for those that don't know, August the 6th, you can say the date. Vergil Ortiz will be taking on David Avenesyan.
How do you feel about that, BT? Do you think it's okay, or do you think are you still pissed off?
I want to make something clear. So for those that know, I'm on Twitter. So at True School Sports on Twitter. If you guys don't have me there, but I about a week ago or so, when they first talked about who we might fight, the Ring Magazine wrote an article. I got really vocal on Twitter saying that he better be fighting Michael McKinson next, right? And mind you, when I was saying this, I didn't really think that he would fight David Avenesyan because my mentality was that why he didn't fight David Avenesyan when he had a chance to before he made the Michael McKinson fight. Why the fuck would he fight him now? That was my mentality. But he's went ahead and made the Avenesyan fight. So as much as I want to sit here and say he's ducking Michael McKinson and say things like that, he is fighting for WBC Eliminator. McKinson himself came out and said that he wants to fight Alexis Rocha on the undercard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that could be. If McKinson can do his job, which is going to be very tough because Rocha is a very good young contender,
right? And
Vergil does what he's supposed to do, then that can still be a fight. I know I'm probably the only person on earth outside of McKinson's family and a couple Brits that want to see that fight. Yeah. But I wanted to see that fight more so because of the fact that we've seen Vergil with this style before. We've seen Vergil fight the come forward strong guys before. We saw that with Kavaluzkis. I wanted to see him go in there with an undefeated fighter because he's never fought one undefeated fighter. Guy was a southpaw because he's never really fought many southpaws, if any. I don't think he's fought any southpaws. And a guy who's slick and awkward, Michael McKinson. So that would have been a good fight. But hold on, let me answer the question. As far as the Avenesyan fight, I think it's a great fight. I think the fans will enjoy it because we know what Avenesyan is gonna do. He's an open book. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna fight like the guy that God created him to be. He's gonna be a short, stocky, durable, hard-hitting mofo, and it'll be a great fight.
In your opinion, so who do you think is the better fighter out of the two? I know you wanted to see Michael McKinson, but my question to you is, the styles of both of these fighters, who do you think is a better fighter overall?
Vergil.
I mean, besides Vergil, Avenesyan and McKinson.
Who's the better fighter?
Yeah, why?
They're different fighters.
Right, so they couldn't be one.
Avenesyan is a more devastating fighter. McKinson's his style is really hard to look good against. Even if Vergil would have knocked out McKinson, he would look bad doing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he would look bad.
So it'd be like an awkward fighter, basically.
Yeah, awkward fighter.
So that's what you say, the skills would have been different.
Yeah. Rishi says, just like you said, Vergil has to fight Michael McKinson next. He signed the contract to fight him. You have to honor the agreement. I agree with that. Like, honestly, like, look, I'm really just saying all this really because I don't want to come off as a hater, but that's generally how I feel. Like, like I really feel like Vergil shouldn't be given a free pass for fighting somebody but Michael McKinson because they bought. First of all, let me give you guys. I'm gonna get back to Tankin really in a second, but let me give y'all the timeline. Okay, they started negotiating for the Vergil McKinson fight last November around Thanksgiving time. They pushed it back to January. They kept negotiating. They pushed it back to March. The fight gets signed for March. We get to March. Vergil pulls out in March. This McKinson's U.S. debut, they changed his opponent like 3 times during fight week, and they give him probably the one style and the one fighter that would make him look the worst he could ever look. They gave him Alex Martin, a good southpaw, an awkward southpaw, and of course he's going to look bad. So, he still won the fight, which I thought was a feather in his cap because to do that in your U.S. debut with the opponents changing so much, that's very difficult. Right. So, I really feel like he should fight Michael McKinson, but the Vergil mob on Twitter and even on YouTube, they don't like when I say that.
So let me ask you a question. So unless Vergil requests a fight, McKinson can't lobby for that fight?
He's been lobbying for it on Twitter. He's been lobbying for it.
Oh, he has been lobbying for it. But it doesn't matter. It's what Golden Boy really wants to do it with Vergil, right? Yeah. And
the thing is, like, when I was there, when Michael McKinson fought Alex Martin, the whole crowd in LA booed from round 1 to round 10, 12. So
I want to say about Golden Boy. They put all these bums fighting other talented, high-level fighters fighting the bums that they got to fight as opponents, but then they won't make this fight with McKinson, who people don't know nothing about. So my point is, if you can do it for all the other fighters, take, for example, Jamel fighting, I'm not saying Slovakia, who's the other guy that just fought that guy, some guy unheard of from Golden Boy.
Zurdo Ramirez versus Dominic Bozell.
But I'm getting at, if you can do that for some other fighters in your stable, why can't you do that for Vergil?
Well, that's an easy question to answer because Vergil's a young star, and I'm not gonna say they're gonna protect him because Avenesyan is a big test. It's not like that. That's no cakewalk. Like he's fighting a good fighter. You give him credit for fighting Avenesyan because Avenesyan's a guy that Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn refused to make the fight with, so he gets credit for that. Yeah. But like Rishi said earlier, you signed the contract.
Honor it
at some point. If not now, hopefully soon, because he's not going to get a Spence Crawford fight off the bat.
Right. But can the sanctioning bodies push the button for that?
They want to. Oh. Hyro, shout out Hyro. He says,
Hyro, what's going on?
I am what I say I am, nigga. What's due is due, and your shit is past due. Woo! Damn right. He's quoting Power. If you don't know, he loves that show Power. Rico says, who's the harder fight, Vergil? For Vergil, David or McKinson? So, yeah, I personally think McKinson is the harder fight. I think Vergil will probably win both fights. Like I think he would beat David, and I think he'll beat McKinson. But the reason I think the McKinson fight would actually be harder because people are gonna make a big deal about he doesn't have any punch power. He has 2 knockouts in 22 fights. First of all, if you're saying that, that tells me you haven't really watched Michael McKinson fight a whole lot. McKinson is very deceptively strong. And a lot of the fights where he's won by decision, he has like, I think in his last, excluding the Alex Martin fight, the 3 or 4 fights before that, he has like 6 or 7 knockdowns combined. Oh, shit. So he uses his physical strength to wear opponents down and get knockdowns. He's just not, he don't really punch properly, the most properly, so that he's lacking some steam on his shots. But he's very effective what he does. And he's awkward. He's a southpaw. So I personally think McKinson is slightly the harder fight, but Avenesyan is going to be a difficult fight as well. But Avenesyan does more of what Vergil likes, which is he's going to come forward, he's going to be there to fight, and he's not gonna do nothing else.
You're gonna set him up with a hook.
As long as Vergil remembers how to jab, he wins the fight.
Yeah.
You know. Let me see. But shout out to all 34 of you here. Good to see you guys on this wonderful, marvelous Thursday. My man He Hop says really gonna be in there throwing bad intention on every punch. Bam, bam. I agree.
I hope we don't come out there and be wild.
And Tank isn't Floyd. Tank don't got Floyd defense. There's a reason he talk how he talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But look, going back to now, let me tell you guys what I think. Tank might beat Rolly and beat him in an emphatic fashion. I think, you know, the things that make Rolly dangerous could also make Rolly vulnerable.
Wow.
Rolly likes to he comes from a judo background, so he doesn't fight in a necessarily a conventional boxing stance. Even when he pivots, he don't even pivot like most fighters.
Judo pivot.
Yeah. So he's gonna put himself in position to get hit a lot. Like I went back about a couple weeks ago, and I was rewatching the Anthony Yiggett fight, and man, he was walking into like so many different types of shots, and I'm gonna say this, you know, he can't afford to walk into that many shots.
Are you saying
against Tank?
Are you saying that he's lacking defense?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he does like some defense. He does have mental lapses at times, but Yiggett is a bit of a different story though, because Yiggett, I mean, I know he's not better than Tank, but Yiggett came in overweight. So Rolly was fighting a 40-pounder at 35,
right.
Guy who was like, as Rolly would say, an awkward southpaw style, you know, Olympian. So he knows his way around the ring. Been in there with some good guys, like Yiggett's been there and fought Ivan Baranchyk, and he knows how to fight punchers. You know, Rolly probably isn't even I don't think Rolly's a bigger puncher than Ivan Baranchyk. So with that being said, you know, I just really think he needs to keep this fight as much as possible in the trenches. Like, keep it in the trenches, get physical with him. If you gotta lose, listen. You know, I don't think I've ever said this before, but first time for everything. If you gotta get some points deducted in the early rounds, and to let Gervonta Davis know that you're willing to go to any place to win this fight, then that's what it's gonna take. But I really think the more Rolly stays on the outside, and the more Tank makes him have to think defensively, the worse it is for Rolly.
Wow.
But the thing is, you know, this isn't Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz is a little bit easier to box because Pitbull Cruz is a shorter guy than Tank. Gervonta Davis is not a very big guy, especially for lightweight. If you look at his career, Pitbull Cruz was one of the first guys that he was actually taller than in a while. So I don't really see him doing the Pitbull Cruz type of performance where he's getting on his back foot and he's counter punching. I see him counter punching. I see, you know, Tank throwing hooks to the body. I see Tank trying to set up that uppercut, and just so long as Tank is defensively responsible, you know, he'll be okay. But the thing is, like, Tank isn't the most defensively responsible, and Rolly is explosive. So that's why this fight is so intriguing to me.
Right.
Apart from all the talk, apart from all the bullshit and the jokes and things like that, this fight's exciting to me for those reasons. Yes, you have a guy in Tank who's the more skilled fighter, who's the more experienced fighter, but that doesn't always mean the guy just wins a fight. Sometimes if you get the right matchup and the right attributes, the guy who's the gunslinger, the guy that's maybe a bit more unconventional, the guy that maybe doesn't go all the way by the book, sometimes he wins, i.e. Ricardo Mayorga versus Vernon Forrest.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna tell you again. I think I'm gonna go with the saying I always say: skill pays the bills. The most skillful fighter here is. I'm not taking that away from Rolly. I think Tank got more skills than Rolly, and that's why I think he will win the fight.
Oh my God! I just saw a title of the video and I had to come on here. Rolly will not destroy a Tank if that. Well, I didn't say he would destroy Tank. I said the title of the video is why Gervonta Davis will destroy Rolly, because I made a video early in the week why Rolly can beat Tank, and he was like, "True school bias." Right? Yeah. So now I'm giving you guys the other side, and I'm not being
biased opinion for both.
You know? What's this talk about Tank not training? I don't know. I haven't heard any talk about that, but is it talk about that? Let me know. Can David hurt Vergil Ortiz? I think he can, because Kavaluskas did. But the thing is, I think David Avenesyan, that is, David Avenesyan's route to hurting Vergil Ortiz is it's not going to really be as much by his power punching. It's going to be more so by his physical strength, his durability. If you watch David Avenesyan's fights, he's a guy that wears you down. He's got a big frame. He's solid as a rock. And this is a fight where I think, in a different type of way, the key to the fight for Vergil, like the McKinson fight, will be his boxing skills. But more so in this fight because Avenesyan's going to come forward, so Vergil's going to need to stay composed. He's going to need to throw a nice power jab early and often in the fight to keep David Avenesyan off of him. Because if he doesn't do that, I'm telling you, it's going to be a grueling, long 12 rounds.
And I guess we might as well just say Vergil's not going to 154. He's going to go ahead and get weight training, God bless him not, and do the same shit he's been doing.
Yeah, we'll see. Ordinary Pete says, Willie is going to sock Tank up. Tank looks softer than ever right now. Ooh, talk to him, Pete.
Tell him, Pete. Let him know. Wow. You tell him no real quick. He's gonna get caught. I mean, he told me that you paint your nails, you do all kind of shit. I was, oh my god.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy says Canelo washed up at 31. Canelo exposed by Bivol. Damn right. Listen, man, I wouldn't go as far as to say that Canelo's washed up. I think he's still a very high quality fighter. I don't, even though, look, far be it for me to tell people what they should and shouldn't say about Canelo, because I'm the guy who named this channel Canelo exposed by Bivol for 2 weeks. But I don't think people should say he's washed up. Now, you can say that he's done his best boxing and he's not really in his prime anymore, which is funny because all the talk before the Bivol fight was all about how he was in his prime. Right. But like I told many people, he may be young as far as age, but he's not young as far as his boxing age. He turned pro at 15.
You told me
that. 16.
He's
been boxing. He spent more time boxing. He spent more time as a boxer in the professional ranks than he did as a regular teenager. Wow. That is a fact. And
you've been telling me for months before we were kind of out about Canelo. You told me that he's not as young as you think he is. That body's been getting a lot of pounding for so many years.
Yeah. Rolly could beat Tank if he lunges in like stupid. Yeah, right. I mean, I didn't say he has to lunge in. I said he's got to keep that fight in them trenches and try to use that physical strength to his advantage. And then, when it's mid-range and if Tank overshoots any punches, Rolly has reflexes to counter punch. He needs to just fight loose. Like, the problem with Rolly in his fights is that he doesn't fight the way he fights in the gym. He needs to loosen up. And he needs to be free. Be free. You got nothing to lose. Everyone's picking Tank. If you lose this fight and put up a great effort, your stock goes up. If you win this fight, you hit the lottery, and now you're a pay-per-view star. So I think that's the way he's got to approach it.
Well, people are not undermining about Rolly is he's got that fucking punches a chance, and he's got that power, so you can't ever sleep on that. One small mistake by Tank, and he catches him and wobbles him like Pitbull Cruz did. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's good night.
Hey, Susem, shout out to you, champ. He says, BT, is there any chance that Rolly versus Tank, hard to watch, a boring bout? I don't think it'll be a lot of things. I don't think it's going to be boring. It'll be many, many things. It'll have, listen, this fight, this build-up, the fight on Saturday night, it'll be many things, but I can't really see it being a boring fight. That's the one thing it won't be, There's too much pride on the line for both fighters.
Stake, actually, so both fighters want to prove something. I'll give kudos to Rolly, man. Like you say, he came into boxing at 17 years old and accomplished what he's accomplished. Man, you got to give props to that, no matter how you want to look at it.
Yeah. John says, do you think Tank is going to resign with Floyd? First, I heard he said he was definitely leaving, and now all of a sudden he's saying he may resign. I really hope he leaves so we can see the mega fights. But look, here's what I think is happening, and here's what I think will ultimately wind up happening. I think Tank wants to leave Floyd, and I know that he wants to leave Floyd because when I was at the Mayweather gym last summer for the Barrios media workout, I think it was Mario Barrios. Might have been Barrios or it might have been Cruz. I can't remember which one it was. But there was a video where Tank on the channel was Tank was hitting the bag. He's hitting the bag in the media. Myself, people like Sean Tatel, Ellie Seckback, the whole media are asking him questions. And I remember, I forgot what Sean had asked him about Ryan Garcia, but he started going into like a whole thing about how, I want to fight these guys, but they don't want to let me. And then he had to cut himself off. Right. He didn't want to say too much. He even said, "I don't want to say too much," but so he made it clear. I've heard him say that in person. Like, look, I'm not really getting the fights I want. I think at the media workout, there was a lot of pressure put on Tank, for what the comments he said, and they were on. They told him to stay on code and whatnot. And what I think is going to happen, John, to answer your question, I think Tank is going to wind up leading the other promotions and signing with Al Heyman. Okay. Now you may say and let me explain this to everybody, right? It is different. I used to think it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I've heard Floyd Mayweather say the same thing, that it's all the same thing. All the Mayweather promotions, PBC, Al Heyman fight, we're all under the same umbrella, which they are. But for the fighter who's locked into a deal or a contract,
right.
It's not the same thing. I had this explained to me by my good buddy Angelo Leo, who's
right.
a Mayweather fighter. Okay. When you're a Mayweather fighter, you don't really have as many luxuries as an Al Heyman fighter. When you're an Al Heyman fighter, you're more prioritized. You get the fights that you want. You get free tickets to all the fights. You get treated better.
I don't know. I can't really discredit Mayweather because I don't know how he really treats all his boxers behind the scenes. But I will say about Al Heyman, I can't stand the motherfucker, is that he treats his fighters, gets them to invest their money in their own real estate. He puts them in places where they're going to be successful, but out of boxing. So for that, I will give Al Heyman a big plus.
Okay. Ernie Matthews, shout out to him. He says, Rolly hits hard, but his boxing skills are not the best. Tank is slicker. What's your dad say? Another sharp guy right there.
I'm with you on that. I said skill pays the bills beginning of this live, and I think, in my opinion, I think Tank has all the skills, all the movement, all the foot movement, everything as far as skills. Tank's got it all, and I think that's going to be a problem for Rolly because from what I see, I don't see no foot movement the way I say it. But that being said, my son said you haven't seen him. I've seen him in the gym, and I know how he can move.
Yeah.
I'm taking Tank.
One thing I found interesting is I think Gervonta Davis has got to that age in his career now where he's like, okay, I'm no longer the youngest hot property in boxing anymore. In my weight class alone, you got guys like Haney, who's younger, Shakur, who's going to move up soon. He's younger. Ryan is younger. All these guys young. He's kind of like the young OG, as he would say, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he realized now it's now or never. I got to get these fights. And I love what he said. He said, Tank said, this fight just isn't about Rolly. This fight's about proving to the world that I'm one of them ones. I'm one of them guys you don't want to mess with.
The real one.
I'm the real one. I'm the one. His nickname, the one.
Right.
So this to him, this isn't just about proving that Rolly's a clown or not in his level. This is literally about the beginning of him starting to prove to the world what he believes, and that is that he is the best 135 pounder. No, he didn't say the best 135 pounder. He said the best fighter from 130 to 140.
Yeah, let me tell you straight up. It's unfortunate that Mayweather and fucking long-nosed LB screw his career up, didn't do shit for him the way they're doing, and this is how he's got to come out now to make decisions, to mature, move on, and make his own decisions to make the better fights, and to get his credibility where it's supposed to be at the level. Because I know he was hurting. I know he was hurting when Devin Haney and Camboza got the fight. In his mind, he probably think, damn, I should have been in that position, but I'm not because these two MFs that didn't support me the way they should.
I'm going to disagree with you when you say that they didn't do anything for him.
They didn't do nothing for him.
You're wrong.
What have they done for
You're wrong. They haven't done no. Let me tell you. Okay. I'm not trying to yell. No. First of all, they haven't done. You got things mixed up. They haven't done anything for him as far as making the biggest fights possible, but they have done right by him as far as making him an attraction. Because even though we're going to complain as hardcore boxing fans, and we're going to say, even though we're going to say he's fought cherry picks. Well, guess what? To people who don't watch boxing, they don't see a cherry pick. They can see Tank like a motherfucker out. Right. And they've done that, and he's become one of the only, because in the USA, right? In the USA, the only fighters, there's only a handful of fighters in the USA that can sell 10,000 tickets or more. He's one of them.
I'm going to say long-nosed LB has been saying, that it took many years to build up. Mayweather didn't happen overnight, so I get what he's saying with building up the stock of Tank, but fuck them. When they had a chance to put the big fights for him, Mayweather had all the money in the world to get whatever he wanted for him. They didn't fucking do it for him, and this is why he feels that way, because now he's got to prove to the world when he could have done it a few years back. If long-nosed LB and fucking egomaniac Mayweather didn't take all the attention for himself, so fuck them both. I love them both, but I don't like how they treated Tank. And Tank has to be right to come out the way he feels right now.
All right. Well, hey, by the way, shout out to all 50 of you here. Make sure you smash that like button. Definitely take time to subscribe. You know, so I want to take this time to address this guy right here, Ragu, whatever your last name is. I've seen you for years. You used to love True School Sports. He used to love True School Sports, right? Now he's saying that I'm becoming this and I'm becoming that. So I'm going to take this time to address you, champ, because you've been flapping your gums in the comments a lot. You said the other day that I'm making these videos I'm making certain videos just to be controversial for views.
For cap.
And the reality is you're full of shit. I'm no different now because this is a guy that's watched you for a long time, years.
Right.
I'm no different now than I was years ago. I'm making videos on my perspectives on boxing and just covering the news. You're the one who's taking it a certain way. So he said right here, are you kidding me, BT? And you wonder why I don't support this channel. Well, you're wrong. You contradict yourself. You're here right now. You gave me another view like you have many times over the years. You used to love the untouchable. Now you hate the untouchable. So it is what it is. He said, no. He said, what was your previous video title? My previous video title was why Rolly Romero can beat Gervonta Davis and become the face of boxing. That was my video title, right? But then people like you, right? People like you started whining and started saying, and then I'm making both viewpoints. That wasn't a prediction video. That was a video of me just talking about one fighter from his perspective, what advantages I saw. Now I'm making a video about the other fighter and the advantages and the perspectives I saw. Neither one of them is a prediction.
Yeah,
and he says, "Man, I'm a sucker, right? You're a sucker, but right? Well, if I'm a sucker, right? If I'm such a sucker, then is that what you do with your free time? Does someone as great as Mr. Ragu sit around and watch suckers flap their gums about boxing on YouTube all day? Like, come on, man."
One more thing, when you come on the channel and you complain like that on little things like that, it shows me you're a fucking bitch.
This is the same guy.
Hold on, it shows me that you're a woman. And that's what women do. They nitpick about shit. No disrespect to anybody who's a woman. I'm just saying, with him generalizing. So you're just like a damn woman. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need to hear your bullshit. If you don't like it, don't come here and nitpick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, I'm not forcing nobody to come here and watch the channel. Like, there's plenty of other big YouTube channels who are much more have much more subscribers than me, and I don't watch this shit because I don't like them.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing. And if I don't like someone or a channel, I don't watch them.
Yeah.
If you really don't support the channel, then just carry on. Like, look, you're complaining about you've been replaced already. Like my subscriber number don't go down. That shit goes up every day, whether you like it or not. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm gonna say another thing. True School Sports. I'm gonna say it again. True School Sports don't use any freaking titles or any certain fighters to put cap on them to get views.
Anything I say, I believe.
You got the wrong fucking channel if you're gonna come here and say that shit.
And he should know that because he's been here longer than most. Now, Johnny boy, I don't want to give him too much time. I gave him enough time. All right. He can go carry on with his life. Johnny, my man John says Tank has definitely had a lot to prove in this fight for the reasons you stated, and also because he didn't look that great against Cruz. And people have been talking about him since that fight. Yes, Tank had built up a great aura of invincibility, knocking out like 140-pounders. He was one of the most devastating punchers in boxing. Most people haven't even seen Tank go the distance in most of his fights, because most of his fights that have been on Showtime, pretty much all of them on Showtime, with the excluding the Cruz fight. Before the Cruz fight, he's been knocking people out. So when people finally see this guy go the distance, they say, "Damn, this guy is looking like a mortal." Right. He's looking like a regular fighter, and Tank wants to prove that he's not a regular fighter. So I'm expecting a pissed off, fired up, motivated Tank to show the world that, listen, man, look, I'm here to not just rule over the 135 division, but I'm here to make noise at 140. If anybody wants to smoke at 130, I'll get them too. So it's all about Tank proving his quality in boxing. That's what it seems this is all about.
Mm-hmm. It's coming out party, I say. Him making his own decisions, doing his own thing. Shout
out to Mr. Anderson. Yeah, we're going to keep doing our thing, man. And we appreciate you, Ernie, as well.
God bless.
He says, are you Americans interested in Devin Haney this Saturday in Australia for the undisputed title versus? Of course, man. Of course. Like, this is a fight that we can't stop talking about here. And it's crazy because this is Rolly Tank fight week, and there's been times where we spent just as much time talking about Kambosos versus Haney as we have this fight and other fights, right? So that just goes to show you how excited we are for it, because it's a great fight. You got Devin Haney, one of the most technically sound, proficient boxers in the sport, pure boxers in the sport. You got George Kambosos, who told you a long time ago, he came from the local show, Sydney, Australia, 500 people. Nobody believed in him. He was in the dark, working hard. He told you guys thought he was delusional against T.O. He showed you that you were wrong about him. And a lot of people aren't favoring him to win. I think he's even a betting underdog in Australia.
Yeah.
So he comes again as an underdog in his own country if you want to go by the Vegas odds. So to answer your question, I am extremely excited about Devin Haney versus George Kambosos Jr. One of the best fights of the year. That's what I'm saying. There's bigger boxing channels out there, but True School's put my favorite because y'all are truly unbiased and cover a lot of fights, not just popular ones for views. And that's what it is. Like, look, all these years ago, right, when I said, you know what, I want to cover the sport of boxing, and I really know that this is what I wanted to do. It was never about views. Obviously, when you're doing this, you want to get views because, you feel good when you get views and it feels good to be appreciated, right? But at the same time, it's like anybody can get views. Not everybody can get respect. And that's why, like, when I go to Vegas to fights and I go to Texas for fights, places I've never been, cities I've never been to, I get people stopping me.
How about some reporters
that take pictures like I'm some sort of celebrity? Yeah. It's crazy.
How about some reporters that actually been doing covering all kinds of fights that will say no names, and they try to do a channel and it didn't work out, but you came out and you did your thing.
That's what I'm saying.
And they give you props on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't cover the random Mexican boxing cards. Reese says, I don't agree with some of your points sometimes, but I like that you guys are honest, keep it real. Yeah, absolutely. We do our best to not be biased. Obviously, everybody has a bit of a bias, so it's going to come out at some points, but we do our best. I don't nag. I appreciate the two of you. Real ones. I'm a woman. Hi, always respected boxing. Now age 50. Really here to learn. I'll head about this fight. Let's go. Yeah, and it's a great fight. Music is life. 21-20. It's a great fight this weekend. Well, I don't know if it'll be a great fight. I know it's going to be an exciting fight. I don't know if it'll be a great fight. I don't know if it'll be a competitive fight. I think it will, but you just never know. But I think it'll be an exciting fight. Whether Tank flattens Rolly or Rolly flattens Tank, I think it's going to be great. And you know what? I want to there's 47 of you guys here, right? There's 47 of you guys here. And I want you guys to really keep your eyes this week. Keep your eyes this weekend out on the undercard, right? We got a friend of the channel, but not just a friend of the channel, a very good boxer that's kind of flown under the radar. On the opener, the very first fight on the Rolly Tank undercard on the Showtime pay-per-view telecast, you're gonna have Luis Melendez, and this kid is a very good boxer. Luis Melendez, I've been following him since his Golden Gloves days. I have videos of him on this channel from when he was in the Golden Gloves, and he's come a long way, in his career. He was very fortunate to get a decision against Thomas Matisse's last fight, but he had never fought anybody at that level before, so I thought he still fought well despite the circumstances. But he told me a long time ago. He told me last year in an interview he did that he is the next Puerto Rican star in boxing, and he was giving Tank some work for some sparring for his fight, and Tank even shouted him out before Rolly and Tank did their face off. So this is a chance for him. He's taking on a very tough Mexican fighter in Eduardo Ramirez, and if Luis Melendez wins this fight, look for him. Remember that name, Luis Melendez. Look for him to be a player in the 130 division. He can box. He can move. He's got a good defense. He's got solid punching power. I wouldn't say he's a great puncher or he's feather-fisted, but he's just solid punching power, but he's got everything else. Gene wants to know where's Melendez from. So Melendez is from Puerto Rico. He's originally from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. He came to the States maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. And he moved to the South Florida area, which is where I reside, and that's how I know him. And I saw him fight in the Golden Gloves many years ago. I have a fight of his here on the channel of his Golden Gloves fight, and I know him from the he trains at a gym not too far from where I live, so we stay in contact. I know him very well, and I want to see him win this fight, and I know that he's got a tough opponent in front of him. So what a great opportunity for a young fighter who has gone through so much in his career and personal life to push forward. And that's what it's all about. These fighters go through a lot. Sometimes they get to a place where they're hopeless and they never get a chance to prove themselves. He's getting that beautiful chance to prove himself on a huge platform. So that's, to me, I know I'm excited for Rolly versus Tank. All right. I'm excited for Rolly versus Tank, but truthfully, for me, just because I know him and stuff, the Melendez fight's the real main event. His weight is 130. Yeah. Quincy L says BT should be a part of the Porterway podcast panel. In my opinion, he would be a great fit. Now, look, I haven't talked to Sean in a month because he's been busy. You know, if you guys have been following Sean Porter, he's been doing commentary for DAZN, Triller. He's been very busy with his podcast, and I've been very busy with my stuff. So we haven't talked since I was with him in Cleveland. But you know, he did tell me when I was in Ohio that this amateur thing is going to be a bit of a process. We're not going to get started like right away, but me going to Ohio was more so just get to know him and go to the fights and just kind of pick each other's brains and see where we wanted to go with this thing. So we'll see what happens. But listen, if I ever got offered the chance to go on the Porterway podcast as a guest or anything, I would definitely take it because I respect Sean Porter immensely, and you guys know I'm great friends with Sean Tell. So yeah, shout out to the fine folks at Porterway Podcast putting out that great content. Fight news, what's good, champ? He says Rolly gonna knock Tanker. That's right, the face of boxing, the Rolly era. You damn right, champ. I hope so. I think it'll be fun to see that, only just to see the reaction of like how boxing would be at. What do you think about this undercard on Saturday, Robert Sanchez? That's my guy, Robert, out all the way out in Austin, Texas. Shout out to my guy Robert in Austin, Texas. I met him at the fight. I met him at the Zurdo Ramirez fight versus Yunies Gonzalez in December, and he's a really great guy. Just let you guys know, I'm gonna start going to fights soon again. When I start going to these fights, if you guys are there and you see me, don't be shy, don't be strangers. Just say BT, what's up? True School. I'll stop. Whatever I'm doing, I'll stop. You know, and it happened to me a lot in San Diego. I was getting stopped a lot, but. You mentioned the undercard. Let's get to that. I haven't even looked over the undercard. The only fight I know on the undercard is Luis Melendez versus Eduardo Ramirez, and that's really the fight that I'm looking forward to. But since you asked, let's go on screen share. Let's look at it, and let's see what we got. Now, I'll tell you this. The undercard will get off to a great start because that Ramirez fight can be tough. Ramirez comes to fight, and Luis Melendez is going to have to be very, very cautious and slick. Oh, man. This is a pretty good undercard. All right, let's get to it. Hold on. Where is it? All right, let's get to it. So we'll go to screen share. Shout out to all 41 of you here. We're in the first hour. We still got an hour more to go. It's the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We don't get mad or we don't get tired. We get money. We get better. You know, so that's what we're doing here.
What we do?
Anyway, go on the screen share, right? Because Robert asked a great question. What do I think about the undercard this week? So go on the screen share. So we'll go through. I think this undercard is actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is actually one of the best undercards I've seen in a long time. In a hot minute. Now look, we'll start with the untelevised portion. All right. We're probably not going to see these fights unless they put it on the Showtime Boxing YouTube channel. But you know, so there are some fights on the untelevised portion you guys may want to look out for. So right here we have 3-0 Jaleel Hackett in a 6-rounder, his 4th pro fight, taking on Jose Beloso, who's 4-0. Hackett's a guy from that DC area. You know, was a highly touted amateur, very, very, very good young fighter. I haven't really seen a whole lot of him, but you know, I've been hearing a lot about him. Right, his name's been bubbling.
You hear some noise.
So you know, he's on the untelevised portion. You got Luis Arias in a crossroads fight, coming off that loss to Vaughn Alexander, taking on a guy that we actually went live for one of his fights. We were talking about how this channel is all about boxing, and we don't just sell out reviews. We went live for Jimmy Quiet Storm Williams versus Greg Vendetti.
Yeah.
Okay. That's who he's fighting. He's fighting the 18-7 Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams is a taller guy, lanky.
Arias wants to fight Harrison.
We can't worry about that. He need to get the Jimmy Quiet Storm Williams. Yeah, that's his problem. He was worried about fighting. He needs to focus on his fight. Yeah. Jimmy Williams is a guy he should beat, but Arias has shown a lot of times in his career to be very inconsistent. So he's gonna have to make sure that he goes ahead and he takes care of business. Because I'm gonna say this: if you're a 54-pounder and you can't fucking beat Jimmy Williams, you don't need to be talking about nobody in the top 30.
Oh shit!
Straight up.
I know Harrison will get it.
Straight up. If you and he beat Jared Hurd, but
there's no disrespect to him either.
It's no disrespect. It's reality. Yeah. It's reality. If you can't beat a Jimmy Williams caliber fighter, you don't fucking deserve anybody in the top 30.
Yeah.
Straight up. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
You're not disrespecting.
And I'm not disrespecting Arias because I like Arias. I met him in Vegas. Great guy. And I'm not disrespecting Jimmy Williams. He's a fighter, but I'm just saying there's levels to boxing. And if you're striving to get to a certain level and you can't beat a lower level type of a fighter, then unless a guy cherry picks you're not gonna get a fight
Right.
with a top guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. You got Eduardo Ramirez versus Luis Melendez. I've talked at length about that fight. I think it's a great fight.
He's still
clash of styles.
He's underdog again?
I don't think he's an underdog. I don't know who the underdog is. I checked the odds, but good fight though. Really good pressure fighter versus a guy who's very slick, who can punch, who can move. Could be a breakout fight for Melendez or Ramirez, depending on who wins the fight and how they win. This fight right here, oh my God. I should have made it. I'm actually pissed at myself that I didn't even make a video about this fight. That's how good this fight is.
Wow.
Jesus Ramos taking on Lucas Santamaria. Great fight. Santamaria is a guy that's been put in tough. He's fought Paul Crow. Right. He's fought a lot of guys. Really, really good pressure fighter. He's taking on one of the young studs in the PBC stable. Wow. Jesus Ramos, a southpaw, can punch in both hands. Someone that people are very high on. He's come off that big win against Brian Mendoza. Wow. Who Brian Mendoza, a very durable guy, beat him rather easily. So that's another good fight. Then your co-main event, you got Lara in his second middleweight fight of his career, coming off that win against Thomas Cornflake Lamana, where it looked like Mike Tyson knocked him out in the first round. He's taking on former world title challenger Gary Spike O'Sullivan.
Shout out to Ireland.
O'Sullivan has come out and said that he is going to upset Lara. Lara hasn't really fought much at 160. O'Sullivan is durable, but does he have the skills to be Lara? I don't think he does, but I appreciate his confidence. And then we have the main event. So overall, if I had to grade this card, I'd give it an A. It's rare that I give cards an A, but this card is an A. Top to bottom, it's an A.
No boring, no fall asleep fight, pretty much.
No, it's good. It's a good card. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, I think Spike said he wants to do what Canelo couldn't do. Oh, what is it? Spike said he wants to do.
He wants to beat Lara in more convincing fashion than Canelo.
Yeah. That's what he said. And he's had some time off, so he's been fresh coming to this fight. That don't mean anything, but yeah.
130-pounders are heavy in Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico is known for, it's 126, 130-pounders. Them guys, 140s, 147. Them guys. Absolutely. ATX, Austin, Texas, represent my home. Shout out to Austin, Texas. KS, what's good? Nosy Rosie, what's good?
What's going on?
Yeah, man. Look, to now I'm actually happy you asked that question, and I went and I really because I didn't really I knew Luis Melendez was fighting. I didn't really observe the undercard like that deeply till just now. That's a damn good undercard.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You gotta get. I know people are always quick to talk shit about networks when they don't make the fights and they don't put on good undercards. But you know what? People are not quick enough when they get it right to give them credit. So give Showtime credit. Yeah. Give Espinoza and these guys put this card together some credit. I know we don't like saying that, but they did a good job. The Lara fight is definitely one to watch. It is because Lara's out here. He's old as hell. He's almost damn near 40, but Lara's trying to fight. I mean, he wants to fight the Canelos. He wants to fight the Andres of the world.
He said nobody's calling him out, though. That's what he was saying in the interview, that nobody's calling him out for him to get the big fights.
They're not. Why would they call him out?
Yeah.
He's a slick boxer who's not going to make you a lot of money. It's no different than if Andre calls someone out. It's the same type of thing. Personally, I'll tell you this. I don't know how realistic it is that they can fight because, PBC fighters tend to say that they blackball fighters from the sport and things like that. Yeah. But if we could ever get Lara versus Andre at 160, I would love that fight because people keep saying that Lara or Andre ducked Lara or whatever. And if he did, whatever. If he didn't, whatever. We could argue to the cows come home if he did or he didn't because there are arguments you can make on both sides. But I just want to see the fight. Yeah. It'd be great if that fight could happen.
Hey, Raymond Ford was Medina's new fight?
Huh?
Raymond Ford was Medina?
Oh, that's on that's a Bam Rodriguez card.
Yeah.
Let's stay on top. Right. I don't really know who the Medina is, though, to answer your question. Johnny says, BT, I didn't get a chance to watch your live stream for Benavidez' fight. Well, I wasn't live. I didn't go live for that fight because I decided to take a mental break that weekend because I was just burnt out. I needed to recharge. So I watched the fight with Pop, but I didn't go live for it. As far as how he looked great. He looked how I thought he would look. David Benavidez did what I thought he was supposed to do against a guy who was past his best. Smaller guy who had been campaigning at 68, but really more naturally a 60-pounder. He looked great. I mean, that little he has that little hybrid hook uppercut he throws. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but he has this little hybrid hook uppercut he throws down the middle. He was killing Lemieux with that all night. He looked awesome. He looked awesome. And Lemieux,
he's old.
Lemieux, I give him credit. He was in there fighting to the very end, and he's not a pushover. I wish Lemieux could get down to 160 because I think he'd be a problem, especially now. I think Lemieux, man, if Lemieux was a full-fledged 60-pounder right now and he can make it easily, he would have a chance to do some serious damage because 160 is trash. 160 is not that good of a division. He would have a big chance to do something.
But, he's old now?
Yeah, but he's old. But I'm saying if he can make the weight and it wasn't a problem, he would be one of the top middleweights.
The video he was getting from Benavidez, even though he took it like a man, they had to throw a towel in because his wife was about to have a baby too. So respect to him though, man, because of the limelight.
Mr. Anderson asked a question. Hey guys, please tell me about your backgrounds regarding your boxing knowledge. I like your chemistry, so I'll let Pop start that one.
Well, I did boxing, and I got into boxing in Lowell, Massachusetts, in Ramos Gym.
The Art Romalo Gym.
Art Romalo Gym.
Where Mickey Ward trained at.
Mickey Ward from Lowell, Massachusetts. He actually went to the gym, and he worked in the same area. So that's how I really got into boxing. Then I grew up in the 80s and 90s in Massachusetts. I grew up with Marvin Hagler, the four kings. You know what I mean? Hagler, Hearns, what's the name?
Durant,
and
Hearns.
Sugar Ray. Yeah. So I grew up in that area, and that what got me into boxing. I was supposed to go, and that's what Romero was at that time. I was like 9 or 10. He put me with his grandson in the ring. He wanted to take me to Boston Garden and this and that.
The amateur fights, right?
Yeah.
What was it, Golden Gloves? Or?
No, the amateur fights in
amateur
Boston.
fights.
He wanted to put me in one of those, but I just think he was just saying that. But it was great for me to get. And then after that, I just learned that boxing is about life and surviving. It's the same thing when you're outside the house, outside the ring. Same thing about surviving and living.
Yeah. So my background when it comes to boxing, this guy right here, my dad, when I was 6 years old, we watched the first fight I ever watched was on pay-per-view. It was Bernard Hopkins versus Trinidad. That was a great fight. Really enjoyed it. I rooted for, even though we're Puerto Rican, I rooted for Hopkins because I thought it was pretty cool that he came out to America the Beautiful and everybody booed him, and he kind of reminded me of a wrestling character. So I rooted for him, and then he won, which was pretty cool. But that was the first fight I ever watched as a kid and growing up. I like other sports, and I did like other sports more. But I would watch the big fights like the Pacquiao fights, Cotto, Mayweather, Calzaghe, Hopkins, them guys, And then when I was like 19-ish, 18, 19-ish, I remember when I had just got out of high school, and I've always followed boxing, but when I got out of high school around, I was 18, 19, and I remember I moved out of the state, right? I was living in Texas, and I remember at that time there was a lot of things going on in my life, and I was trying to really figure out who I was and what the fuck I wanted to do with life, right? Because I wasn't covering boxing when I got out of high school. I was covering the NBA. When I was 18, 19, I was covering the NBA at that age in a whole other state, and eventually wound up not liking it, and then that brought me to boxing. But boxing became very deep to me because when I was like 19, I fell into like a deep depression. And I remember I had it was only one time, but I did have suicidal thoughts one time ever. And then after that, I realized I needed to do something to not, go crazy in Texas. So eventually I started boxing once I moved back to Florida at Canino's boxing gym in Dania Beach. Bonnie Canino, she was one of the first women's world champions. She also trained the first Puerto Rican women's world champion, Ada Velez, who coincidentally, Ada Velez had a son named Joel, who went to the same elementary school as me. We fought on the playground as kids.
Wow.
That's actually a true story. So I guess boxing was always meant for me. And then, as times went on, when I covered boxing, I got a chance to spend a lot of time interviewing Riddick Bowe. I even got to train with Riddick Bowe for like 3 months straight. And I learned a lot from him. And Holyfield, had a lot of conversations with them, just soaked it all in. And that's all I've been doing all these years. These last 7 years, just been going to gym, talking to people, interviewing people, and just soaking it all in. So that's the short answer.
And we also got to give credit to Paul Rice, 23. He's the one that looked at my son and said that he should start his own boxing channel and see the talent in my son. Shout out to Paul Rice, 23.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Paul. Why are you telling people the truth about Rolly? Let people have their fun. Look, we don't know what the truth is until they fight.
Yeah, man. We're just
it's just all it is just hearsay till they actually go in there and fight.
And everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Here we go. Another interesting guy here. He says, weren't you rooting for GGG against Dudu? Well, first of all, his name is Demetrius Andrade. So you will respect the WBO middleweight champion who has been the champion for what, like 4 years now.
Yeah.
You will respect him. You will not call him that. Otherwise, you will get blocked. I never rooted for Golovkin against Andrade. Fuck no. I've been adamant since you can go find videos on 2019 of me saying I want Golovkin to fight Andrade, okay? I don't know where you got that from. You must be a troll, so I'm not going to get too bad out of shape. But he also said, but GGG versus Canelo is a bad fight. I never said it was a bad fight. You can't read, and you must have forgot your reading comprehension back in elementary school. I said that it was a pointless fight. I didn't say it was a bad fight. It's going to be a good fight because they're going to go in there, they're going to throw. The fights are always going to be exciting, but I said it was a pointless fight because you got other guys at 168 and or 75 that deserve that opportunity more. Guys like better BF Smith winner, guys like Bivol on the rematch who just beat the shit out of Canelo and schooled them. You got Andrade, who you mentioned. You got Benavidez, who I don't like, and I have my opinions about him, but even people want to see that fight. You got Morel. You got all kinds of guys. You got you got all kinds of guys. So I don't know where you're getting this from, but God bless.
I think Canelo's just a confident fight. Build his confidence back up.
Huh?
I think for Canelo, even though he's getting the fight and this and that, and he signed a contract, blah, 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 I think after Bill showed him what he was all about, I think it's like a confidence for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He said, yeah, S. Dreeza says, yeah, just messing with you guys. Actually, I really appreciate the way you guys approach this whole deal. Thank you. And we appreciate people like yourself that listen, because at the end of the day, like, look, I love the fighters. Like, the fighters are modern day superheroes. Like, what they can do and what they go through just to get ready for a fight. I mean, I just started working out recently, and I'm like, damn. Like, imagine me. I was sitting in the hot tub today thinking to myself, like, man, like, imagine this every day for 8 weeks straight. It'd be crazy. But I respect these fighters, and I want the sport to. I want people who come across this channel to enjoy the sport, have a good time while they're here. So. And
everybody's opinion on their fights. So I mean, we might disagree and I agree, but you have your own opinion. We have ours, and just having the dialogue makes it better.
Did you know Big Al, one of Riddick Bowe's sparring partners? I did not. Riddick Bowe, when I met him, wasn't boxing. He was a retired man. He wasn't sparring nobody, so I never got a chance to meet Big Al. But if you know who he is, tell me about him. Ernie says Danny Lopez, Little Red was dynamite at the Olympics. And that's a fighter right there. I'm glad you named him. I literally, I'll tell you, I literally just made a video about his first fight with Salvador Sanchez today. Yeah. Because I want to start making videos about older fights, because I do know a little bit about boxing history, more so than most people that are my age. So I want to start making videos about fights that
lightweights that were good at the time.
I want to make videos about historical fights in boxing and kind of put people on game to fights that they may have never heard of, because there are people that don't watch boxing religiously like me. So I want to put them on game so they can learn more about the sport and they can become big boxing fans. But Danny Lopez, great fighter, great fighter. Hall of Famer, long, rangy puncher, just a dangerous dude, a guy that you didn't want to mess with. And the fact that, like, Salvador Sanchez did knock him out twice. I think the first fight was the 13th round, and the second fight was the 14th round. But the fact that, Danny Lopez boxed 27 rounds with Salvador Sanchez, I mean, yeah, he got stopped both times. But I haven't watched the second fight yet.
I 15 rounds?
Yeah. I've only watched the first fight. I'm going to watch the second fight soon. But the fact that, because everyone says that, I mean, you guys can tell me if you want to. Everyone that I've heard talk about the second fight, they say it was a lot closer than the first fight. Because the first fight, Salvador beat the shit out of Danny Lopez. I mean, it was a boxing clinic. I mean, if I had a son and he wanted to box, and I'd make him go sit down and watch that fight. That's how good that performance was. But Danny Lopez, legend of the sport. Dio, did you hear that TFE was already in training camp? I saw a video of him like doing jump rope. So it's good to see Tio getting back in the gym. I think that's where he needs to be, because Teofimo's, he's been boxing his whole life. So I can only imagine, how crazy he must be going without being in the gym training.
I think some time away from it, like he was, is going to help him out a lot. So now he's coming back refreshed to prove himself again. So yeah, I like that. That was good.
It seemed like a lot of guys are scared to get that first loss, and it's all about the money. I mean, for a lot of these fighters, it is.
But that's in this level, right, Brennan?
No.
A lot of fighters are afraid to get that old.
There's always been an element of that. Always.
Even in my time?
Even in your time, yeah. Even in your time.
I don't think it was as important as it is now.
No, but there was still diva shit that went on in your time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, example. Sugar Ray Leonard didn't fight Marvin Hagler in his prime.
I know.
This man unretired, waited like a couple years, then he came back.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't fight Aaron Pryor. You know, Aaron Pryor was a guy that, you know. So there's always been an element of that in boxing.
Every era got some kind of.
But I think now with social media, right? With social media, with more money in the pot,
I think
everything is just more magnified.
Yeah, exactly what you say. Having that O goes a long way, basically, to get you where you want to be at. I mean, if you lose that O, and this time now more so than ever, I think that people think it's the end of the world, which is really not.
Yeah. Quincy, who was JS says, how is GGG 3-fight pointless when GGG won the first fight? Because with the way, first of all, it's pointless because they're not even going to fight at Golovkin's weight class. They're fighting at 168, a weight class he's never campaigned in. Completely punk move by Canelo Alvarez. They should, if he's going to fight Golovkin, I mean, I know if you can't fight 160, I don't think you should be fighting him. That's my opinion.
He's starting to get with that stuff.
Golovkin has not fought ever at 168. So on that basis alone, it is a pointless fight. But then when you factor in, you got guys like Beterbiev, you got guys like Bivol, who just beat the shit out of Canelo, who should get a rematch at 175. Not only 168, but 175. Because the title, when that fight got signed and they put a little poster out, it said, legacy is earned. All right? Legacy is earned. Now, Bivol earned his legacy in the first fight, and Canelo's legacy took a bit of a hit in the first fight, and it's taken a much more big of a hit in the aftermath. Because you guys tell me, because I'm just a kid with some boxing posters.
You don't know.
I don't know shit about boxing. You tell me. When was the last time you saw a guy who was the favorite lose a fight in convincing fashion and then demand a rematch in the weight class that was lower? I ain't never seen nothing like that.
And then,
so it's pointless because of the weight class. And it's pointless because of all the other fights that people would rather see. And it's pointless because there's fighters that deserve the opportunities more that haven't gotten them yet.
And that he could fight, but he don't want to because he's afraid he might get shot out and be shown again his legacies. The way Bill proved him wrong, somebody else could do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then to go ahead and go backtrack to what he's doing again with Eddie Reynoso, put in some type of weight simulation or whatever the can said, he's going back to his old self again. It shows you the lack of confidence that Eddie Reynoso and Canelo have on themselves.
Ernie says,
in an older guy like Gigi.
Ernie says, I watched him being Danny Lopez. I watched him thrash Art Hafey. First time he had a left hook. I want to listen. I'm still learning about Danny Lopez. I've never seen that fight, but I'm gonna.
Gotta watch the Fight Historian. He's got a lot of good channels there. The Fight Historian got all kinds of things about the
Rich the Fight Historian.
Yeah, Rich the Fight Historian. Go check him out. But I'm glad my son is doing other things besides. I like that.
Yeah, people have more knowledge of detailed boxing these days, probably because back then, there was no internet. So if you wanted to know who was ranked in the top 10, you had to wait. You had to go buy the boxing magazines, and you had to wait for the rankings to come out. True. And then you couldn't just watch the fights in the UK and Japan. You had to read the magazines and stuff. So I mean, I wasn't around at that time. But that's how I'm told how it was. Valiant says Canelo will be retiring soon. He will never fight the fighters the fans want to see. And you know what? I told everybody this when Canelo came out, like after the Saunders fight. I think it was after the Saunders fight, and he started saying this bullshit about I'm gonna fight 6 to 7 ways. I said, get the fuck out of here. I told everybody, if you believe that he's fighting 6 to 7 more years at the Elite World Championship, you are fucking stupid. Yeah. Because that you're talking about at that point, he would have a 22-year pro career, and when you factor in the kind of money he's making. He's not gonna keep the hunger won't be there. The hunger will be satisfied. The hunger won't be there. He's got everything he wants. He's got beautiful kids. He's got a beautiful family. He's got the house. He lives. Listen, I actually admire Canelo. He lives in San Diego. I love San Diego. San Diego is the best city.
He say from where? Guadalajara, Mexico. He's from Guadalajara, Mexico. Wherever he's from Mexico, but he lives in America.
Yeah, I mean, I love San Diego. So he's dope just for that.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. When Canelo retires, or when he doesn't retire after fights, he even said after the Bivol fight, what he's gonna do? He's gonna go play golf.
No golf, no life.
Yeah, so shout out to him, man. Now we get critical of him and everything. Like even with this, what he's doing right now, these are like to me the dumbass moves by him. It just makes his legacy even worse. Putting stipulation on an old GG that's past his prime, and I feel that he is. And to even do that, it shows me the lack of confidence in Reynoso. But Go ahead, Canelo. Go play golf.
Roman Cantu says, why you are totally wrong. Tank isn't a Tank. He couldn't do anything with a little pit bull. Tank has zero chance of knocking out Rolly. Tank is going to throw power punches all rounds and gas out. Wow. I like that. And you know what, Roman? That's a jet. It's a nice little jet in your picture. I hope we get that. I hope we get that outcome. I think it would actually be the greatest thing for boxing if Rolly became a huge star.
Yeah, at the same time, I've been saying that it's just like Rolly said. Also, if Pitbull Cruz went in there and pushed you around and hit you a couple times, and got you against the world and rocked you a couple times, just imagine what I can do to you. He's right.
Mr. Anderson says, what's your opinion on the franchise bout? I think it's just a way to protect or duck potential opponents. You said it better than I could have.
Amen.
That's exactly what it is. Because if you remember, right, if you remember when the franchise belt first came out, and I'm going to paraphrase the quote. These aren't like all the words he said, but I know this is pretty much what he said. Mauricio Suleiman said when the franchise belt came out that it was a belt that is dedicated to fighters who have made an impact on the boxing industry, which gives them the ability to make the fights that they want to make happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, that's a political way of saying, yeah, the guys we like who make us money, it's the best way for us to get the outcome we want. You know, so I think it's trash. I think it's caused more confusion and done way more harm than good to the sport.
One thing I like about Rolly, what he did say, one of the reporters asked him, what will you do if you become star boxing, and what will you do for boxing? He said one thing I want to do, I'm going to get rid of all these fucking belts.
Yeah.
All these crazy belts and all this shit. It's a mass confusion. We don't need that. So I'm with you on that one.
Right, yeah. Ernie Matthews says Canelo deserves to be tired. He has fought hard and well for a long time. He beat Benito Saunders. That proved it for me. He is tired now. He may be tired. Listen. He's fighting 4 times a year in the biggest events in North America, you know, that boxing can produce. He's not fighting like me. I know he hasn't fought I know 168 isn't the greatest weight class, but, you know, these guys are all champions, and most of these guys were undefeated. All of them were undefeated, actually. So there is an element of, you know, of resistance there, and he's had to work very hard to win those belts. You listen, personally, look, you guys know I'm not a Canelo fan, so if he retired, I'd be.
Yeah, and I will go on with that also. One thing I like about Canelo that you sometimes refute with me a lot is that, to me personally, I think he's been the most active fighter. Second
behind Navarrete. Navarrete, we were active than him.
Yeah, and he's got all the fights, and he's done everything. He goes from one weight class to another weight class. So regardless of how we have our opinion about Canelo, we still got to give him some type of.
Because at the end of the day, he whether we hate how his career is managed or not,
it's not our.
He's a fighter like everybody else. He sweats, he bleeds, he does all the same things. Goes through a lot of the same things other fighters go through. Now he may be more privileged than those guys, but he's still putting in that work, in that pain, in that gym, and that has to be respected by everybody.
That's what he does.
You know?
I got to give him that much. You can't. And jumping from weight to weight, I get that too. So props to him.
You know what? Hey, shout out to my man Boxing Gym with the $4.99 super chat. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Boxing Gems. Go check out all his film studies.
I was checking out his videos the other night. I was like for an hour checking all his videos. At nighttime is when I can relax, and I love to watch his channel. Guys, I will recommend 100%. Go check out Boxing Jams. You will learn so many terms that I don't think any other channel could bring out the terms that he does and how he perfects it.
It's very few channels that can rationally break down
the cross that jab. Yeah. You name it, he's got it. And I got a bad memory, but I love his channel.
But you know what? He gave us super chats. So we got to give him Don King. So Don King, talk to him.
Hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You don't live but once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. It don't matter whether you're young or old. Let the good times roll.
Say it. Let the good times roll. We will. Much respect to Boxing Gems, one of the top channels out here on YouTube. Make sure you guys definitely go
hit that.
Give them a subscribe, and listen, even take it a step further. Hit the damn bell notification so you get everything. Shout out to my barber who I have not gone to see in a while. I gotta go see him soon.
God bless you.
He said BT and Pops are pound for pound, and Yoaz says, I've been seeing you in the barbershop, man. I saw the coach holding the pads. You was throwing them grown man punches, them steak knife sharp straight right hands. And I know that you know, you're doing great things. Kingdom Cuts Barbershop. Shout out to Kingdom Cuts Barbershop out there in Kendall.
Go check him out. He's one of the top dogs. All in God's glory. I will send blessings to you, your wife, your child, and the one that's coming. God bless you.
God bless. Valiant says Canelo is definitely Hall of Famer, even though sadly he probably won't get the fights he wanted. But that's boxing today. Listen, man.
Has it been? And I can't even think myself. Has it been a fighter as good as Canelo? That the comment just said that we missed a lot of fights that we didn't get to see in any other.
There's plenty of fighter. Every fighter in the history of boxing, you can point to 1 or 2 or 3 fights that didn't happen for whatever reason. You know, Sugar Ray didn't fight Aaron Pryor. You know, I mentioned that one earlier.
Rocky Marciano died.
Manny Pacquiao didn't fight Edwin Valero.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Manny Pacquiao didn't fight Paul Williams.
That would have been a nasty fight right there.
You know, you can do that for any fighter. Okay, I use fighter I like. Chocolatito didn't fight Donnie Nietes or Kazuda Ioka. He didn't fight Casemiro.
Damn.
So we can do that for every fighter.
That's because the politics got worse throughout the years, but those fights haven't been made.
No, boxing's always been that way. I think it's more pronounced because there's more money in the pot. Right. But there's always been an element of guys avoiding each other. Okay, in the 1920s, right? You look at the 1920s, right? Mm-hmm. When they had Black Murderers Row. They had a thing called Black Murderers Row. Yeah. Where none of the top black fighters could get fights the white fighters. That was a thing. Charlie Burley, literally one of the greatest fighters of all time, never got a world title shot because he was black.
No shit.
Yeah. So that's all. Fighters not getting fights, whether it be for politics, political reasons, financial reasons, racial reasons, it's always existed.
Did Jack Johnson get all his fights that he wanted? Did Jack Dempsey get whatever he wanted?
No, every fighter in boxing, nobody has ever gotten a chance to fight everybody they should have fought. Or Roy Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. He didn't fight Demetrius Mikolashevsky. You probably don't know who that is, but that was like a mandatory challenge you had for you. Right. Joe Calzaghe didn't fight Sven Ake. Right. You can do it with any fighter.
It's on.
You know, thank you, John. Oscar never fought Winky Wright.
Oh, that would have been a great fight. Winky Wright?
Bernard Hopkins and James Toney never fought. Dang. You can go to any weight class and you can nitpick guys who didn't fight these guys. At the end of the day, all you can do is beat the guys they put in front of you.
Right.
Now, if you want to argue, did fighter A have an influence on whether he didn't fight fighter B? That's a whole different discussion. Right, but every fighter has had someone that they didn't fight, whether it be because the fighter lost, he became irrelevant, whatever. It happens to everybody.
So I think I wish
Adrian Granados never got a title shot, and he won and he beat the WBC mandatory challenger, and he never got a fight. He never got a chance to fight for the WBC world title ever.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy things happen in boxing.
Yeah. You're right. So
Cotto never fought that. Look, we can go all day. We can go all day with this. Yeah. This could be a never-ending thing.
Damn.
You know, Salvador Sanchez didn't get a chance to fight Aguero because he died.
Right. Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, so it is what it is. Mayweather never fought Margarito or Paul Williams. In fact, I like Floyd. I'm a Floyd fan, but Floyd literally told Margarito to his face he's never fighting him. Margarito came up to him, right? Margarito, the videos should still be on YouTube. Yeah. Margarito came up to him and he's like, he shook his hand. He said, "Yeah." And I don't know why he said, "The guy can't fucking speak no English."
Yeah.
But he said, "I'm not ducking or dodging you. We're gonna fight. I'm making small business decisions that's gonna move me up levels." What does that sound like? You know?
He shook his hand and move on. Give him respect and move on.
Mike Tyson never fought Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe never fought Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so forth and so on.
Riddick Bowe never fought Ibuchi almost fought nobody in his era because he went to jail. Dang. So,
yeah. The list goes on and on.
And I'm sure now that I started doing this, people are going to start dropping fights that didn't happen.
So it's good, though. You get comic. It brings back some of the fights that you wish you had.
Floyd never fought Costas too. The fight that I wanted to see more than any fight in the history of this damn sport, Chocolatito never fought the Monster. Dang. Because for whatever reason,
the Monster had a chance.
Now, I personally think that people that run the Monster's career, they didn't want him fighting the creme of the creme at 112 because he was young and all this stuff. I think Chocolatito to this day, they would have fought at 112, he would have beat him.
So you saying that that fight will never happen?
I still want to see that fight.
What
I want to see Chocolatito go to 118 and fight. See, that's daring to be great. No, look. Everyone talks about Canelo daring to be great against Bivol, right?
Right.
I don't really see it that way because it's a fight that he was a favorite in. Right. But man, Chocolatito, let's just say, right? I know it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. I think they should explore this option because to me, out of all the fights in boxing, of all the active fighters, this is like the holy grail of boxing.
Yeah, but he come on and say he's going to stay at 115 and think that. Chalotito.
I know, but just let me finish the point.
Okay.
This is the holy grail of boxing. In fact, I even made a video titled Roman Gonzalez versus Naoya Inoue, the holy grail of boxing.
Right.
Go check it out. Okay. We already know that he's capped out at 115. I mean, I think his body's a lot more solid now.
Yeah.
So it would be easier to move up to 118 because he's had a lot of time at 115. But listen, Chocolatito, if you would ever fight Inoue at 118, that's daring to be great because that's a fight that he would be an underdog in. Mm-hmm. That's him fighting at an older age where in a weight class most guys don't fight to that level.
Yeah.
You know, that against a younger, that to me is daring to be great.
What about Ben Rodriguez, what he's doing?
Mo Boxing. Shout out to my man, Mo Boxing.
How about
hold on, let me answer this question. Mo Boxing asked a great question. He says, do you still support Everton? You damn right I still support Everton.
I'm watching the game.
The freaking People's Club,
Ooh,
right? Neil Satis. Neil Satis, these are only the best will do. The pride of Merseyside. You damn right I support the 9-time league champions, you know. And I'm glad you asked that. I just bought an Everton jersey recently. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. And any day now it should be here.
What's name?
Huh?
What's the name?
There's no name on the back. I don't like nobody on our team, so there is no name, but that's my football club.
Yeah. What about Ben Rodriguez doing what he's doing now? You think he's going to be great? He's a young guy. He's going up there, jump what he's doing. Like he's doing in a short time.
Yes.
Who's Ben Rodriguez? He's going to fight a monster in Romero, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were just saying we were literally just talking after the Bam fight. I said the most dangerous fight that he shouldn't fight is Romero, and he's fighting Romero.
Oh my
I'm
God.
a fan. I'm a fan of this kid. I'm a fan.
I'm
on the verge.
Is he big?
I'm telling y'all right now. I'm on the verge of becoming a Bam Rodriguez fucking fanboy because this guy has balls of titanium. This dude was just at 108, like most of his boxing career.
Nobody knew nothing
about him. He fights Cuadras. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
He fights Cuadras on short notice. Beats him. Now you're gonna go fight Romero, a guy that's the biggest guy. Romero could easily, if Romero wanted to, Romero could be a 118 pounder. He could probably be a 122 pounder. He's got the frame and the size to do that. This guy is no joke. We saw. I mean, it's sad because I love Chocolatito, but we saw when he fought Chocolatito in that rematch what happened. So the fact that he's going to that challenge when he really shouldn't.
Like, you don't think so?
I hope he. I want him to win. I actually want him to win.
Yeah,
I like him because
Romero probably the favorite, right?
I don't know who the favorite is, but I'm going to that fight. That's one to go to. If it's it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
And then my thing is like, okay, the way I see it, he beats Romero. He beat the guy Chocolatito didn't beat on paper at least. I thought Chocolatito won the first fight. That makes him even bigger,
right?
And then that sets up a potential like passing of the torch type of a fight between him and Chocolatito.
Yeah, that'd be great. He said he would fight Chocolatito.
Yeah, and I'm sure Chocolatito will fight him. So
yeah,
Ben Rodriguez, man, I think
shout out to him.
He's gonna be on that pound list extremely
where
quick.
Where you from? What's the favorite city you like?
San Antonio, Texas. I love
San Diego, San Antonio.
San Diego, San Antonio, Texas.
You were telling me that. You said
Chicago. Chicago.
You said
those are the three cities, non-South Florida like cities.
You just knew up white when you.
No. Well, I can't count Charlotte because I have ties to Charlotte. Right. So excluding like the Charlotte, South Florida area, San Diego.
You knew you like and San Antonio,
San Diego, San Antonio. And Mo Boxing, Mo Boxing says, remember you made a video about me? Yeah, he used to come here all the time. I can't remember the name right now.
Yeah. Wow.
What was the name? What was I was trying to figure out your name when I saw your name come up on the channel. What was your name? P Boxing. P Boxing. There you go. Of course, I made a couple. I didn't make any videos. I clipped when you were on the channel and you were capping for Deontay Wilder. Now, respect to Wilder because I know you love Wilder.
He's coming back.
Respect to him. He's earned my respect.
You got a statue for him.
Especially after the third Fury fight.
Yeah.
And I don't got nothing bad to say about him no more.
No,
God bless him. He gave us great fights. He gave me one of the greatest fights I've seen in person when I went to go see him fight the Burn, the rematch. So
you seen him when he knocked him out like that?
I was there. Yeah, I was there. It was crazy.
I don't know. Oh my God!
The reason I was there wasn't even for that fight. The reason I was there was because Adrian Gonzalez, my friend. Adrian Gonzalez fought Sean Porter on the undercard. So that's why I was there.
I'm saying, but when you see that, what were you like? Was that power really there?
Yeah. Wow. Yo, it was crazy. How is BT versus Push-Ups doing? Exceptional. I'm doing exceptional, Charlie. The next time you see me, I'm gonna look a little different. I'm not gonna say much more than that, but you'll see.
God bless you, Charlie. All to God's glory.
They shut down my old channel. Yeah, I know.
They shut it down? YouTube did?
P Boxing.
What, were they real? Like the realist?
I forgot what he did. He could tell you. I don't know what he did.
I just want to have been something against the guidelines or something they didn't want to hear.
Yeah, man. Getting back to Bam.
Yeah.
Bam Rodriguez.
You got to give him credit.
I give him all the credit in the world. You know.
Do you think Eddie Hearn's just taking advantage of him right now, or you think it's sooner or later he'll put him back?
Eddie Hearn needs to be careful. I mean, this fight's a sink or swim fight for Eddie Hearn in the sense that, like, you know, the Zone has been losing a lot of money.
Yeah,
they lost so much money that they had to have the guy who owns the company inject like another $1 billion into the company to keep them afloat.
Oh wow.
We don't know if he's going to keep Canelo. He's doing his best to try to keep Canelo.
Yeah.
So he's trying to create a star any way he can. I think Eddie Hearn, you're going to see in these next year or two, like you've been seeing, Eddie Hearn's going to match young, talented fighters up a little earlier than they should, and they're going to fucking lose. Yeah. And it's going to hurt their brand.
Do you think once Anthony Joshua comes back and fights Usyk that he'll be lobbying for that fight with the Bronze Bomber?
He needs to just worry about being Usyk.
Okay.
That's one thing I've been stressing for the last year and a half on this channel, 2 years. When I'm not talking about fighters fighting other guys that they got a fight signed already. Like, he needs to worry about Usyk.
Focus on
Luis Arias can't be worried about Tony Harris. He got to fight Ginny Quiet, Storm Williams.
Right. Focus on the matter at hand.
Focus on the matter at hand. That's a problem. See, that's a problem with people in life. You got to focus on the task at hand. Like right now, I'm doing this live. All right, my mind ain't nowhere else for this damn live. Tomorrow, when we get at 5 in the morning, I'm gonna go to the gym. My mind's gonna be at the gym. All right, that's what you gotta do. You gotta be
focused and just
focus on a parallel path.
You're right about that one.
Positivity is the best policy. You damn right. You damn right. Yeah, look, guys. On that note, I'm gonna cut this one short today because I'm trying to get to bed a little early today. But I'll be live tomorrow.
Look out for the videos too.
Look out for the videos. I'll be live tomorrow. I'm going to probably make tomorrow's live a little bit earlier, but it's going to be a longer live because it'll be the night before Rolly versus Tank. I want to try to get a couple people on here, get their thoughts on the fight. You know, hopefully Hyro, Box Talk 101, Boxing Jam, people like that.
H-Money might come on.
H-Money, whoever. They come on. We talk about the fight, have fun.
Maybe just open up for you guys to come on the thing. On the thing.
Tomorrow.
Good.
So that's tomorrow. That's what's in store for tomorrow. But on that note, guys, look, I'm gonna get out of here. Live fight reaction on Saturday. Make sure you guys join us. Check out all the content on the channel. Shout out to Mo Boxing. Hope you're doing good in the UK. And like I say,
before you go, I want to say congratulations to Marco's past one. He graduated from college. And he's doing boxing at the same time. God bless him and his family.
God bless him. On that note, guys, like I say in every single one of these videos, you guys can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.